back to the Veterans Day Parade in New York City for 2010. The United States Army is one of the elements of this parade. They're well represented here today. Paul?
Yep, this is the West Point Drum and Bugle Corps, followed by the Corps of Cadets, which traditionally leads all military parades in this country.
And the 800th Military Police Brigade Training Support Battalion right behind them there. Mayor Michael Bloomberg is with Michael Gargiulo right now along Fifth Avenue. Mike?
Yes, he is. Mayor Bloomberg, great to see you on this Veterans Day. Your thoughts are on a Veterans Day that occurs, as you noted in your speech, while some of our men and women are fighting overseas.
Well, I think we keep getting reminded that freedom is not free. That's the slogan of the parade today. Our young men and women are overseas fighting and sometimes paying the ultimate sacrifice so that you and I can say what we want to say, pray where we want to pray, be in charge of our own destiny, treat each other as equals. And there are people around the world who find those freedoms threatening and they want to take them away from us, and we're not going to let that happen. And I'm glad to see the president is overseas right now thanking all of those who've helped us. A lot of other countries have come to our aid just as we are coming to their aid. Particularly the president was in Korea, and today we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Korean War, when a lot of Americans went overseas, fought, and some died, too many died, to protect their freedoms and in the end our freedoms as well.
Absolutely. War often called the forgotten war. Governor Paterson here as well. Governor Paterson, your thoughts on this Veterans Day?
Well, I'm glad to see that we as New Yorkers and Americans are understanding and celebrating our veterans more than they ever have. I'm here with Congresswoman Maloney, and she was saying that this last Congress did more for veterans than any in the past. And right here in New York State, we lower the flags whenever a New Yorker is killed in the line of service in our military, and we have started a council for returning veterans so we don't have some of the tragedies that happened in Korea and in Vietnam, where people served their country, came back, and couldn't get service from the people they protected.
All right, and finally, Congressman Maloney, a wonderful day for a parade here, and to reinforce the idea that New York City is really a town friendly to veterans and our servicemen and women as well.
Oh, absolutely. This is a day when New York appreciates all of their veterans, but we need to appreciate them all year long. In this Congress, we were more generous than ever in history, raising their pay 3%, starting a new GI Bill for education for the returning vets from Iraq and Afghanistan, and extending benefits for housing and really for the orphans and the widows that are left behind. But today is a day to remember, to say thank you, and I'm thrilled to join with the governor and the mayor. And when we return to Congress, we're going to be remembering our veterans of the War on Terror and passing the 9/11 Health and Compensation Act for those veterans to get the health care they so justly deserve.
Many people looking forward to that. We are holding up a parade. Thank you all for your time today, and enjoy a wonderful day and a wonderful parade. Chuck and Paul, back to you.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. And the governor touched on something there. This was your war, the Vietnam War.
Right.
The Vietnam veterans, if Korea was the forgotten war, it was a bit worse, I think, for the Vietnam veterans, because they came back to a country in great turmoil that didn't appreciate their sacrifices. In fact, they came back to a great deal of criticism. And that still is a sore point, isn't it, with many Vietnam vets?
Vietnam veterans often now will say, look, it happened to us, let's not let it happen again.
Yeah.
And that's the point we're focusing on now. These Iraq, Afghanistan vets are coming home to a country in an economic turmoil, a downturn. It's difficult to find jobs, and then we run the risk that they'll be treated like the Vietnam vets, and we have said never again. So we're not dwelling on ourselves. We want to make sure these new vets are welcomed.
I think the tone changed after 9/11. I really think that once again we got the wake-up call, and we mentioned the theme of this parade: freedom is not free. That's a lesson I think each generation has to relearn, because we forget this is a wonderful, successful country, and we adapt and we thrive here, and we forget about the threats that are out there to our freedoms, and periodically something happens to make us remember them. 9/11 did that, and I think the veterans now returning are much more appreciated.
Well, I think one of the interesting things, this is the first war we fought with an all-volunteer force, and over 40% of those fighting the war are Guard and Reserve. So they leave their families, their employers at home, go overseas for a month to a year, come back, don't have an institution to support them, go back into the communities, and the wonderful thing is that the communities reach out and say thank you. And that's the most important thing that they can hear. Thank you.
You hear that behind us, the crowd's cheering.
Yeah, that's right.
As the Army marches by, the parade is in full swing now past our area.
Well, I'm pretty proud. This is the West Point Prep School passing, and this is the Corps of Cadets from West Point, and as a West Point graduate, it's good to see you.
Better. And the prep prep school provides one extra year out of high school, between high school and matriculation at West Point, to bring everybody up to speed, get them ready for the rigors of the U.S. Military Academy.
Right. They used to be located at Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, and they're now being relocated on the grounds of the Military Academy at West Point. So this is it's quite an honor, and it's great to see them. I told them I was going to be checking their marching styles and make sure they were straight.
Okay, so what's the grade, Paul?
I think they get a grade A. They always do.
I think as we see the veterans coming up here too, marching, it's got to be good for them to get back. The veterans from all of the wars to once again march as a unit with their comrades in arms.
I think it's many people don't realize that the veterans had a moment in the sun at the war they fought, and then to go in our country, go back and disappear and become anonymous citizens of the country. This is another moment in the sun for them, and it's tremendous. The World War II vets that you see and the Korean War vets, they're prouder than they've ever been, and they love marching with the younger vets from this war.
And it's good for this connection too, I think, for the people watching right now on Armed Forces Radio and Television along the 38th parallel in Korea, on the front lines in Iraq and Afghanistan, serving all around the world, who are now on active duty, looking at the camaraderie and today the respect that those who went before them are enjoying.
Well, I think they also realize this is the country to which they're going to return, and there'll be a welcome for them. And I want to give a little shout out to the Rangers at the monastery, which is 120 Rangers up on the border in North Korea. Go to sleep each night with 100,000 bad guys.